This episode of Express Trading Bites is brought to you by Promo Corner. Are you looking to support a sales campaign and reach a larger audience? Raise your brand awareness with content sponsorships. For more information, reach out to sales@promocorner.com.
I'm so excited to be here. I've been interested in cryptocurrency and blockchain since 2013. So I've been on this wild ride. You might be able to see my t-shirt. It stands for Hold On for Dear Life. And that's an apropos saying right now with the market having the ups and downs that it's having. So my goal today is to share with folks in the industry an overview of the blockchain and cryptocurrency space in general. So I wanted to start by telling you a little bit about myself. I've been in the industry for 30 years. I've been both a supplier and a distributor during those years, as well as a client. So I have a 365-degree view of the industry, and I feel like I can relate to walking in all of those shoes. And bought into Bitcoin back in 2013. I happened to see an article from the Wall Street Journal that just drew me right in. And I started following this new technology, early adopter of the Coinbase platform. I bought Bitcoin back in 2013. And I will be sharing this deck at the end of the series with different links to articles and things that will help folks sort of absorb the information. Have bought cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin, many times since 2013, made a lot of mistakes, was burnt by an exchange called BitSane that disappeared off the face of the earth. Key when we talk about crypto and investing in blockchain is do your own research. Now, I wanted to share a little bit about why is crypto important, in my opinion, to the industry and to the world in general. I think it's amazing with borderless payments. It helps people who are unbanked right now, meaning folks who don't have access to banking facilities can't really bank. However, many of those folks have a smartphone, and crypto allows for people to exchange money from their phones. So it changes the way commerce happens, gives access to underserved communities. For me, I see it as an evolution of the financial system. So as you start to follow the technology, you may start to agree with that. It's life-changing in the way the internet was and email. We could even go further back in the time machine to faxes, cell phones, car phones. Then we had the development of the internet and email, and all of those things really changed the way we live and do business. And I believe that cryptocurrency and blockchain are doing the same thing. Wealth can be created in many different ways. And in promo, we'll touch on these topics as we go through the presentation with payment platforms, NFTs, which are non-fungible tokens, which is kind of a funky word, of branded merchandise and logos, and related to charities, smart contracts, and supply chain. So a lot to take in. So I wanted to start with a short video, a 2-minute and 44-second video on how crypto works. So I'm going to play that video for you. And I'm going to stop my video.
There's Bitcoin, there's Litecoin, there's Ethereum. So just cryptocurrency and how does it work? Essentially, it's digital money that is bought and sold online. There are no bills or coins, it's not based on another asset like gold, and it doesn't go through traditional financial institutions like banks. Instead, these currencies operate in a completely decentralized system that uses so-called blockchain technology to track transactions. To see how this works, let's look at how you buy something with cryptocurrency. Say that Alice wants to buy a bike from Dan using Bitcoin, her cryptocurrency of choice. Alice begins by logging into her Bitcoin wallet with a private key, a unique combination of letters and numbers. With a traditional financial transaction, The exchange gets sent to banks on each side, who record the money being subtracted from one account and added to another. But remember, in this scenario, there are no banks or middlemen. Instead, Alice's transaction is shared with everyone in the Bitcoin network. These networked computers add Alice's transaction to a shared list of recent transactions, known as a block. Every 10 minutes, the newest block of transactions is added on, or chained, to all the previous blocks. That's how you get a blockchain. To ensure that each block of transactions on the chain is verified, a subset of Bitcoin's network joins a race to solve a very difficult math puzzle. And if they solve it first, their record of the block of transactions becomes the official record. They're rewarded with Bitcoins of their own, and the network gets a new block on the chain. This entire process is known as mining, but instead of chipping away at rock, you're solving complex puzzles. The fact that many computers are competing to verify a block ensures that no single computer can monopolize the Bitcoin market. To ensure the competition stays fair and evenly timed, the puzzle becomes harder when more computers join in. The Bitcoin protocol says mining will continue until there are 21 million Bitcoins in existence. That's set to happen around 2140, if Bitcoin lasts that long.
So that just gives you a little bit of a background in cryptocurrency and how it works, and what blockchain is.
What does it mean to have a Bitcoin? Many people have heard of Bitcoin, that it's a fully digital currency with no government to issue it, and that no banks need to manage accounts and verify transactions. And also that no one really knows who invented it.
These currencies operate in a completely decentralized system that uses so-called blockchain technology to track transactions. To see how this works...
Sorry about that, everybody. I thought I had my technology set. Here we go. Back to the presentation. Sorry about that, everybody. Thought I had my technology set, but I had a little goof there, so I apologize. So that video gives you a little bit of a grounding in how blockchain and cryptocurrency works. And when I send you the deck, you'll have some links to some reading materials that'll actually add some more detail to that. But I wanted to start with the story of Satoshi Nakamoto. He's a mystery. He, she, or they, or a group of people or a company could be Satoshi. Nobody really knows who Satoshi is. And Satoshi founded Bitcoin. And ever since that Bitcoin paper was released, there's been a mystery surrounding that. But as you saw in the video, Bitcoin is the first blockchain network. When you hear the words Genesis block, that is the first Bitcoin block that was mined in 2009. And as you saw in the video, Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer decentralized network that allows people to exchange value with each other without a single intermediary or a bank. And Bitcoin is a digital currency, and digital currencies have been along for a while, but the difference is that it's supported and verified by a network of people. So I wanted to share this infographic because it helps connect those dots a little bit even further. So the transaction, as you saw in the video, is broadcast to a network of computers that verify the transaction, solve a complex mathematical puzzle, and then validate that transaction. Now, multiple transactions happen within a time frame, and then those are aggregated into a block that is connected to other blocks with a hash. So we're going to talk about hashes a little bit in a second, but I wanted to make sure that folks understood what a distributed ledger is. And it's a technological infrastructure and protocol that allows nodes, which stands for number only used once. That's announced. Not nodes simultaneous are computers that give simultaneous access to the transaction to validate it. Hashing are these long strings of numbers that connect to each other. So those long strings of numbers have to be consolidated into a block so that the transactions can be connected to each other. And that's run through a hashing algorithm, which gives that number an output of a fixed length. So hopefully I'm making blocks clear. A transaction happens, it's assigned a number, which is a hash, and then that hash is validated by the network. And then at the beginning and the end of each of those hashes is a connector that connects it to the next hash. So a nonce is a number that can only be used once. So if the network is validating a transaction and that number has already been used, it will kick it out as an error. So a quick little recap here. Bitcoin is a currency that is used to make transactions on the Bitcoin network, which is a blockchain. Transactions are validated and agreed upon by the network. And this happens about every 10 minutes, and it's getting faster and faster. There's actually a Lightning network that's been created to speed up the transactions. So the big three, when you hear in the news cryptocurrency and blockchain, you might be thinking to yourself, well, what are those called? And if you could compare them to a blue chip stock, I think, in my opinion, that Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin are the blue chips of cryptocurrency. And I need to say here that this is not investment advice of any kind. I'm just sharing thoughts on what the top cryptocurrencies are. And just to give you a little description of each one, Bitcoin is the big daddy. As I mentioned, created in 2009. It's a proof of work network. And that actually gave birth to Litecoin, which is a peer-to-peer cryptocurrency that was set up by Charlie Lee. He was a former Google employee, and it shares many similarities with Bitcoin. And then there's Ethereum, which I think is the workhorse of the blockchains. Now, since Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum came on the scene, thousands of cryptocurrencies have been created. And there are many, many blockchains that have been created. And one of the things that is happening in this space is people are developing ways for blockchains to connect and work together. But Ethereum is really the backbone of this technology. It's an open source blockchain-based software platform, and it enables smart contracts, distributed applications to be built and run. And it's a platform for developers to build and operate apps. And if you've heard of NFTs, which we'll cover in our third segment, many NFTs are bought and sold using Ether or on the Ethereum blockchain. So I think I'll pause here for a second, Brendan, and just ask you if you have any questions yet.
So there haven't been any questions on social media, and probably not, because this is obviously heady stuff, right? I know a lot of people are thinking, well, I thought blockchain was just a way to buy things, you know, and it's given names like Bitcoin, like Dogecoin, like all these things with the coin on the end. But you're explaining to us that blockchain is a lot more than just a currency to buy things, correct?
Yes, so that's a great comment. Thank you for saying that. So blockchain is really the underlying technology that allows the cryptocurrency to be used as a method of payment or used in different ways. So blockchain is the underlying technology, and cryptocurrency is sort of the gas or the way that transactions happen. So thank you for bringing that up as a point of clarification. Anything else you can think of that I kind of leaped ahead too fast? And I have had that feedback that maybe I need to step it back a little bit.
It's so new. There's so much that goes on, and because it is digital, because it is online, it's hard for people to grasp because it's not something physical. It's very easy to understand cash, and it's very easy to understand a legal document, right? But all of this stuff is online and is held digitally. So do you have a kind of like a kindergartner's way of explaining. I mean, because that video was great, but it still left me with more questions than it gave me answers. Like, I had never heard of that whole $21 billion thing. Like, what was where?
Okay, great question. So that is the number of Bitcoins that can be mined, that Satoshi created from the beginning. So there's a limited number of Bitcoins available. Now, with different coins, they have different market caps or different amounts that they can mine. Some are infinite. It's Bitcoin specifically has a set amount, which gives it more value. So that's why folks, when the more is mined and it's purchased, less is available for people to own. So it becomes more scarce, and that's where people compare it to gold. The scarcity of gold. And some folks ask me, what gives cryptocurrency value in the first place? Well, we do as the community. So the community that buys into crypto is really what gives it its energy and its desirability and its market. Like if you think of wampum that was traded back in New England by Indians, same thing, or pelts or furs. You know, it's the community that gives that that value. So excellent thought process there is, what the heck? Why do I want to own a digital anything? And we will cover exchanges in the next segment, but when you do own cryptocurrency on an exchange, Brandon, it's like having it in a bank account. So if I can make that connection, when you log into your exchange, it's like logging into your bank account and you can see all of your crypto assets. The difference between an exchange and a bank account is you might have multiple types of cryptocurrency in your bank account. If you could think of it as different currencies from different countries, it's that similar type of mindset that you're going to have different cryptos in your wallet because different cryptos do different things, and some are more valuable at different times. So I hope that helps. Cryptocurrencies are gaining more mainstream adoption. You folks might have heard in the news that PayPal is now accepting cryptocurrency. Venmo, you can log right into your Venmo app and you can see that you can buy Bitcoin right on your Venmo app. And they actually have a great little tutorial in the Venmo app that might help folks connect these dots too. And I think what I'll do is send this deck out sooner rather than later so people can click on the different links and learn a little bit more about the technology. I think for me, what I have been starting to see in relationship to our industry, Brandon, as many of us who've been in the industry for years, we know our industry is like turning the Queen Elizabeth, right? Takes a lot to gain adoption of new technologies. And sometimes by the time we do, they're old technologies. So what I'm so grateful about today with Promo Corner is the opportunity to just plant the seed and get folks curious about this technology and about crypto. And I would feel great if people left this webinar curious and go on a little journey to look at different things. Maybe I've piqued their interest, and I apologize if it was too high level. I really have to work on that. And I so appreciate that feedback in figuring out how to get this even one step back to the beginning. But what I'd like to share with folks before we end our segment is cryptocurrency as a payment platform for the industry. So there are lots of payment platforms in the crypto space, at least 10 of them, that integrate with Magento and Shopify and WordPress and other technologies that we already use in the industry to power our company stores and our websites. So it's not a huge stretch for distributors to be thinking about taking crypto payment either on company store platforms or on their own platforms and for suppliers to consider having portals for distributors to pay in crypto. This is a mind-blowing concept. It's hard to take in, but something that most folks don't realize is you can convert your crypto payments immediately into fiat currency. So if you're worried about, well, I don't want to be invested in crypto, I don't want to hold crypto on my balance sheet, you don't have to, because these platforms allow you to convert it immediately into cash. So, as we develop this series, maybe we'll add a fourth that can dive into, how that all works. But that's really what I was hoping to do today, and talk about aspirationally too, smart contracts. And smart contracts live on the blockchain that have different data embedded in them that make different things happen. And the analogy I'd like to use is importing. So for suppliers and distributors who import things themselves, we have to wire transfer 50% prepayment, to get the order going. And then when it hits the dock, we have to release the rest of the funds. Well, you can build into a smart contract other release points and other milestones that need to be achieved within the order process for those funds to be released. And you can even embed a sensor in your shipment that will transmit data to your smart contract, letting your smart contract know if your stuff is still on the ship, if it's at the right temperature, things like that. So there's really some fascinating, amazing technology in the works. And I promise to do better at trying to share it at a more grassroots level so folks can understand it and I don't scare everybody away from it. So any other comments?
Yeah. So first of all, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today and continuing to stay tuned in. And we've got two great questions, and I'm not quite sure, they might be longer answers than what we've got time for, but you can always reach out to Lisa too. She's on LinkedIn, Facebook. She's all over the place in social media, and she'll give her contact info at the end as well. But so we've got two comments here. One from Ellie. She says, if somebody wanted to get started, what would be the first step? So let's just keep that in the back of your head. And then maybe you can wrap this next question in with that answer. And Alan Letson, first of all, he's been an amazing guest on Express Training Bikes. Thanks for tuning in. He asks, what are some of the risks you've seen? So maybe you can answer kind of both of those kind of together, I think.
Excellent, excellent. So how to get started. I think that relates to get started in what area. If you want to become an investor, you would set yourself up on an exchange like Coinbase, and you would fund your Coinbase account with fiat funds, and then you could buy cryptocurrency from your account. And I will give my contact information. I'm happy to share with folks exactly how that works. That is a much longer answer. But if you want to get started in your business taking crypto payments, I would also ask you to reach out to me, and I can walk you through the different plugins that are available to actually make that happen. So let's talk risks. Early in my investing cryptocurrency career, I got burnt big time with an exchange called Bitsane. It was an Irish exchange, and it was the only place you could buy Ripple, which is XRP. And there was an MSNBC article about using Bitsane to buy Ripple, so it seemed legit, but they disappeared off the face of the earth. Since then, those things don't happen in quite the same way. And how I minimize risk for myself is I've chosen exchanges that are very well known. And Coinbase is actually a publicly traded company now. And Gemini is another platform that I love that was started by the Winklevoss twins, who were original founders, debatable in Facebook. So those guys have huge credibility and are brilliant folks. So how I minimize my risk is to do my own research, educate myself, and follow people on social media. And if you're in the area, the Boston Blockchain Association is a wonderful organization to join. And there are various LinkedIn groups and meetups that are out there. So my biggest risk minimizer is to do my own research. I hope that makes sense to folks.
No, that is a fantastic answer. And that's the one thing, especially with all this stuff being super new, is we're all kind of finding this out together, right? I mean,
Yes.
there's new things happening all the time, and it's moving very quickly because of the internet, because of technology, because we are able to talk to each other so fast, like on this platform here. So Lisa, I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for getting that conversation started here in this industry, because I think that is, like you said, we were always known as the industry that moves really slow, but when we all got put on the lockdown, we were all moving at the same pace. And so I don't, and you don't want this industry to go back to what it was. We need to stay on the forefront, and you're doing a fantastic job of educating us on that today. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I appreciate the opportunity. My contact information, I'm on LinkedIn. My email is first spelled out firsttimpp@gmail.com. And my cell is 508-245-2887. I welcome the opportunity to share more insight. And Brendan, I'm not sure how I share the deck. Maybe you can help me figure that out after.
Okay. Yeah, we can. Yeah, we'll definitely make sure that we get a link up in the comment section.
Okay.
Yeah, here within the next few hours. But yeah, absolutely. She has a very long deck that she has been super nice to split up into more biteable chunks, if you will. And so we will make sure that the full deck is available in the comment section down below. Again, you guys, thank you so much for watching Express Training Bites today. We will see you guys next Thursday.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.